Hello, this is TimTop Gaming here today with another Throne of Eldraine spoiler video. Why don't we just hop right into this? I'm trying to make these videos a little bit shorter. They've been like between 10 and 20 minutes, which I think is kind of insane. But today there's a lot less cards, so why don't we just hop right into this? We, of course, have Paladino di Ventress. There's a lot of foreign language cards that were spoiled today. And this is Ventress Paladin. It's a creature, human knight with flying, and then adamant. If you spent at least 3 blue mana to cast the spell, it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. So a 3/3 with flying for 4. I feel like, honestly, that's not that great. It's a knight outside of knight colors. You should probably just get a 3/3 for 4 with flying. So I just think this is a pretty bad card. Next, we have Unexplained Vision. It's a sorcery, draw 3 cards, and then it has adamant. If you spend at least 3 blue mana, scry 3. I think this has a lot more potential to it. So you can draw 2 for 3, and then at that ratio, technically, you could draw 3 for 4.5. Now, this is a whole 5, but if you spent 3 mana on it, you then get to scry 3, which basically means, hey, you could technically go through 6 cards of your deck with this one card. So I think this is very, very, very powerful. Yeah. So I think this card is powerful. I don't know how much play it's going to see, but I think it has the potential. It's just a little bit expensive for a draw spell, because that's what you're going to spend your whole turn on. Next, we have a Mythic. Wow, that was a big jump. Common to Mythic. It's a 3-cost... creature with flash and flying, and it can only block creatures with flying. It's a 3/1. I guess that's interesting. This would totally go in the Simic Flash deck. And then you can return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Now, technically, if this said return target permanent, or target non-land permanent, like, at all to its owner's hand, you could infinitely do this. So you could I guess you'd need to establish targets first, but if you had that spell that like duplicates stuff, that duplicates adventures, you could cast the return something to hand to then target the and then at instant speed, because this has flash this in, then have the second duplicated ability go off, targeting this thing, and obviously that's not how the card works, but I'm pretty sure that's why you can't bounce something of your own, is because he could infinite loop with himself since he has flash, and there's ways to give him flash. I think this is interesting. I prefer the white giant, which at second thought, or a second look, I think it's a lot more powerful than I first gave it credit for, but this one, I guess it goes in flash and fairies. Next, we have Tempting Witch. It's a 3-cost creature, human warlock. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token, and then you can sacrifice a food to make target player lose 3 life. You also, by the way, have to tap her and pay 2 mana. I don't know why I didn't do that. So, what she does, you might notice, is that food normally has the ability to pay 2 life, tap it, sacrifice it, gain 3 life. This does the opposite. Instead of you gaining 3 life, someone else loses 3 life. So, it kind of is doing the inverted of what a normal piece of food does. I think this could totally go in a food deck, as it's a way for when the game goes to a stall, you can just use your food to start just attacking. Next, we have a very similar card, Iron Crag Pyromancer. It's a 3-cost 0/4, and whenever you draw your second card each turn, Iron Crag Pyromancer deals 3 damage to any target. Drawing your second card each turn is a theme within the drafting portion of this, and so I don't know if this would be a big bomb if you happen to be drafting that combo in Limited. However, I don't think this is going to see much standard play. Next, we have the Great Henge. It's a 9-cost legendary artifact, so there's going to be a cycle of really expensive artifacts. And it says this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So if you have a 7/7, this costs 2, and then you can tap it and add 2 mana. You gain 2 life. And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. I think this does a lot. I think this would totally see play in a mono green deck. It taps for mana, it gains life, it puts counters, and it draws cards, and it encourages you for having big creatures. So this would totally go in a mono green deck, because you don't have to have a 7/7. But if you're just getting generic creatures, you could technically like pay 5 for 5/5 or pay 4 for 5/5, because those do exist. They're not even that rare. And then boom, this thing now costs 3, 4, 5. No, this costs 4. And so then you can cast that the next turn, start gaining life, start adding 2 mana. Of course, this can tap for 2 the turn it comes out. So this has a lot of potential, along with all the other really expensive cards. Next, we have Gingerbread House. It's a land forest. Whenever it enters the battlefield, tapped unless you control 3 or more forests. It enters the battlefield untapped. If it enters the battlefield untapped, create a food token. So we've seen a cycle of these. They're all pretty meh. They're commons. Next, we have Tenacious Night. It's a creature, human knight menace. And at the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses 1 life. That's pretty bad. I mean, I guess I'd put this in a deck where you want to make your opponents draw. Of course, that wouldn't be in Standard. But in Standard, I don't see this seeing much play because it's at your upkeep, everyone draws a card and loses 1 life. So you lose the life and they draw the cards as well. So I don't think this is really worth it. Either way, that was it for today. There hasn't been that many. Tomorrow, all the spoilers should be done. So tomorrow will be a big day. It'll be like 50-something cards, and there'll be a bunch of commons probably. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this new format. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, yeah, bye.